Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about Russell philosophy. So, about the Russell philosophy, we'll talk on the topic which is in our syllabus of philosophy optional in UPSC exam. So, there is a one topic that is the logical atomism, and we will talk about that. Russell is a philosopher of 20th century, but in Russell is a philosopher of 20th century, and he has been the member of a British Parliament, and he has been member of a House of Lord, and he is a renowned writer also. He has written in various subject of life like society, polity, marriage, family, and he has written many essays also. He says that in every era, people write good literature, and you certainly will find the background of philosophy in the literature whenever we get the good literature in our time. He tells us about the knowledge by acquaintance and knowledge by description. This is introduction. This is kind of the introduction about the Russell work. Then we will shift towards the logical atomism. So, at first, some lines for the introduction of Russell philosophy. So, what he says about the knowledge by acquaintance. Uh, what we get by our sense data, like the image, the sun, and tree. So, whatever we are experiencing, we are seeing direct that by our sense data, that is knowledge by acquaintance, but something which we are not watching directly. Example, we can take the example of knowledge by a description, is that the first person in the moon was Neil Armstrong. So we have not seen, we just know that by the language and by the logic, and there is no need direct example, direct proof. So we just believe that the first person in the moon was Neil Armstrong. So this is knowledge by description. So he tells us about the knowledge by acquaintance and knowledge by description, and he has written about and share his thought about linguistic analysis and language philosophy, theory of meaning. This all thing also said by his disciple Ludwig Wittgenstein. He also tells us about the language game. What Russell tells that the problem of the philosophy is nothing else but to not understand the language of philosophy. And when we do not understand the language, what the exact the statement is exact saying, so we create a kind of the misunderstanding and the illusion, and we get stuck. So the first thing is that to understand the language, to understand the exact meaning of the language. So here in his topic, logical atomism, he tells us about the logic and the statement. We already have studied about atom in our Indian philosophy. Nyaya and Vaisheshik tells us about the atom, but that are the physical atom. And Russell is the philosopher of 20th century, and long ago, before centuries, Nyaya has said about the atom. And here in the Western philosophy, Leibniz says that Leibniz talks about conscious atoms that are the monads. He talks about the monads. What is difference here, what is special here is that the atoms are logic. Russell's atoms are logical. So he tried to tell us the truth and the reality of the world by the language and by the logic. He tells us to understand the statement, the language first. So this is the what I have understood. This is by the Professor Dr. S. Sinha, by the here by YouTube channel The Quest. I was listening that, and I'm just explaining those things here with you. So, logical atomism is what is atom? So, which we cannot divide further. That is atom, and about logical atomism. So, there is a one book, Principia Mathematica, which is written by Russell along with Whitehead, and this is the base of a modern algebra. So here in this book, Russell tells us that the whole mathematics can be reduced in three logic. So what are that three fundamental logics? We will study one by one. So first law is the law of identity. A is A. This is the first law of identity. A is A, red is red. This is a law of identity. Everything is what it is. Everything is what it is. A is A, cloth is cloth, red is red. This is law of identity. And this second is law of contradiction. What is law of contradiction? So red can be red and cannot be red. A can be A and cannot be A. So what is law of contradiction? The opposite property, the opposite qualities, the opposite quality cannot be present in any object at the same time. So the contradictory qualities cannot be present at the same time in a single object. Red can be red and cannot be red. This is not possible. This is contradictory sentence. So there is a difference between the contradiction, contrary, and opposite. We generally denote contradiction by not. So one thing can be read and cannot be read. This is the example we can take as the law of a contradiction. Third one is law of excluding middle. So what is law of excluding middle? That is we do not use middle in logic. The middle can be used in poetry and the prose, but and it enhances the beauty of the poetry. But here in the logic, it destroys the beauty of the logic. Logic should be certain and clear. So we do not use middle in logic. We avoid using of middle in logic. A must be either B or not be. A must be either B or not be. This is the example of logic. Now logical preposition. Logical preposition. So there are four kind of logical preposition: a universal affirmative, universal negative, and particular affirmative, particular negative. These are four logical preposition. At first, what we have to do is that we have to uh, we have to do with sentence the logical description. We have to means we have to express the sentence in a logical description at first. So we have to convert to the statement to the logical sentence, and we have to reduce the sentence into logical sentence. So what we get by the logical sentence, that the logical sentence has the clarity and the certainty. So it is very necessary at first to get the logical sentence, and at first we have to change the complex sentence into the simple sentence. What we can get by the simple sentence, again when we make any sentence simple, so there are we find the clarity and the certainty. So in simple sentence, what we see, that we have the subject and one predicate and the relation between the subject and the predicate. Here that Russell denotes the predicate by quality. So subject and quality and their relation. So here in the simple sentence, more than one subject or the quality can be here. So there can not be the complexity. We can understand by example that John and Mary are going to Birmingham. This is complex sentence, and how we convert the sentence to the simple sentence, that the John is going to Birmingham and Mary is going to Birmingham. Now this is the simple sentence. Again we have one example, that have you stopped smoking? Again this is the complex sentence. How we have to ask that, at first, do you smoke? This is the first sentence. Then have you stopped smoking? So we have to at first change the complex sentence into the simple sentence. Banana and apple are good for the health. So this is again the complex sentence. Banana dot apple are good for the health. This is simple sentence. Otherwise we can use here veg. Veg is the symbol. We can use here the symbol veg. So how we express this example, that banana, veg, mm, apple, either banana or apple are good for the health. And this is the simple sentence. Either banana or apple uh, are the good for the health. This is simple sentence. So Russell says that at first we have to convert the complex sentence into the simple sentence, and then we have to identify that how the simple sentence representing the fact, is there a single fact or more than a one fact. At first we have to identify the simple sentence, that how it is representing the fact. This is necessary to reach up to the atomic preposition to identify the fact. There should be a single fact. This is the need. Uh, things are not fact, things are object. Like we see sun, we can take the example of maize. These are not fact, these are object. Fact are that the statement which has the quality to being true or false, that are a factual statement. So factual statement is like sun rises at 7 a.m. or the image is rectangular. These are the fact. So in factual statement, what is there, what we get there, so there are clarity, there's a one object, there's one subject, one verb, one quality. These are the some character of the factual statement. And whatever the talking about the object, the fact is talking about what object. It says us, it tells us about the uh, quality of that object. Now after this all the process, russell Russell reach up to the sense data by this factual statement, and this is the last atomic unit, the last truth, the reality of world by the logic and by the language. So these are the last atomic unit, and by the sense data, reads Russell feels, Russell experiences this by their sense data. So this was the atomic, the logical atomism, and here are some remaining part we'll discuss in another video. And thank you so much. Thank you.